Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brainbean here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Razer Nari headset. Now, I know there's a lot of reviews floating around of the Ultimate Edition, and that's the one that has all that vibrating haptic feedback. This is just the standard wireless Nari, and I think that it's important to get reviews of all the different versions out there, so that's why I chose to focus on this one. But with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. All right, so before we get too far into it, I just want to talk about what they give you in the box. Now, this is a wireless headset, but they also include a about 4-foot long micro USB cable for charging, and then they also give you a 4-foot braided 3.5 millimeter headphone jack so that you can use it wired, and you can also use it with like your phone or something like that as well. All right, so taking a look at the overall construction of the headset, it's made with an aluminum chassis. Feels pretty sturdy, very similar to the Kraken V2s that I reviewed previously. Just has some good heft to it. Feels like you can twist them and kind of contort it and it'll snap back into place. The ear cups are able to be rotated, so if you're done with the game and you want to rest them around your neck, they're not awkward and hitting you in the jaw or anything like that, which is always nice, a little bit more comfortable. The headband is also adjustable on its own, so when you go to put it on, it will slide as far down as it needs to and then go snugly into place on your head. Now, speaking of comfort, one of the things I really like about this headset is that the cushions around the ear cups not only are made of a nice leatherette material that has sort of a soft suede feeling to where it actually contacts your head, but it uses a cooling gel foam that does help keep your head a little bit cooler and helps kind of dissipate some of that heat off of your head. I played with these for a couple of hours when I was testing it at a time, and I never really got that gross, like hot, sweaty feeling that you get in there, almost like a nasty greenhouse effect or something when you're wearing them. So combining the feeling of those ear cups with the adjustable headband does make for a pretty comfortable overall experience. One thing I noticed is that when you do put them on your head though, and kind of get it where you want it, if you turn your head too fast or too much, you can kind of see that they can kind of fling off your head. Now, obviously, you're not going to be like thrashing your head around or anything unless you're like listening to some metal or something like that. But, just something to be mindful of if you do feel like, if you're playing with like a 3-monitor setup and you're going like this a whole bunch or something. Now, because this is a wireless headset, it's not gonna have the inline controls that you normally would for your volume mixing and mute and all that. So they've integrated it into the actual ear cups themselves. Now, most of it's pretty standard stuff like your charging port, your 3.5 millimeter jack, the on button and mute button, but they've also added a pretty cool real-time volume mixing feature into this. The way it works is that when you pair this headset into your computer, it essentially recognizes it as 2 different devices. So you can set the game sound, which is going to be basically, what you would pair as your computer sound, and then the chat. And you can pair the chat to, say, your Blizzard chat or Discord or something like that. And so when you're in game, what that means is you can turn the mixing knob and balance how loud your group members are with how loud your game sound is. And I found it to be really helpful when playing quads or something like that in a battle royale, and if you have somebody that you can't hear or they're being too loud and you need to hear footsteps over your group members talking, it's a really handy feature to have. So speaking of the fact that this headset is wireless, the way it connects to the computer is via a 2.4 gigahertz connection, and they actually built the dongle right into the right ear cup, and it's spring loaded, so if you want to take this with you, you just pop it in there and it's ready to go. It's also a nice, small, compact one that you can pop in the front of your computer or something, and it's not going to look obnoxious. Not everybody likes the look of a big dongle. But the overall performance of the wireless is really good. I didn't get any disconnecting or any distortion in the sound itself. And the wireless works up to 12 meters, so you can take it pretty far as well and not have to worry about losing connection or anything. So if you want to go grab a drink out of the fridge or go to the bathroom or anything like that, just make sure you mute your mic first and don't be a weirdo. I'm talking to you guys directly through the mic on the headset. Now, as you guys can hear, the microphone sounds pretty good, especially considering that it's a wireless gaming headset and not something running through an XLR interface that we're used to seeing streamers use, or even like a Blue Yeti or something like that. So considering all of that, I think the mic does sound pretty good, if not
a little bit thin, like I said. Now, there is something I really want to point out here, and that's in Synapse, there's about 3 different settings you can change to enhance the way it sounds, isolate your voice from background noise, and things like that. What I found works best is that if you turn the vocal clarity setting, which essentially will isolate your voice from background noise, as low as it will go, it's going to give you a much better overall sound on the microphone at the cost of picking up a lot more background noise. So if you are going to be streaming with this or recording YouTube videos, that's the setting you're going to want to use. Now, if you do have a ton of background noise or something and it's making people on your team upset, then you'll turn that up, but it does make the microphone sound a lot more thin, and it does kind of make it sound like you're muffled a little bit when you use that. You can also use the volume normalizer, which will help eliminate peaking and things like that. Now, in the studio environment that I'm recording in, I'm not using that. You can also adjust mic sensitivity as well in those settings. So, but with that, you guys can hear it. I want you to let me know in those comments down below what you think about the sound of this mic.
Moving on to the microphone now, it works very similar to what we've seen with Razer's other headsets, where it's got the retractable mic that you just pull out and you can slide that back in and it pretty much disappears. It's got a very nice, easy to position mic, and I like that they've always kind of done that because it just makes it easy to have pretty much anywhere you want it to be. So if you find that you're being too loud or you don't like it too close to your mouth, very easy to move around. And with these being wireless too, having it be retractable does make these a viable option for using it as some headphones if you want to take them with you. And one use I've found for these headphones in particular is I really like using them with my VR setup because they do have a really good surround sound to them and overall just a really good set of headphones to use, not tethered with something like VR. So moving on to the most important part to any gaming headset, the overall audio quality. Now, as we know, with Razer acquiring THX, I would expect to have some pretty good sounding audio out of these, and they do sound pretty good. They have 50mm drivers, and they do use THX spatial audio to give you really good surround sound. And I tested this particularly playing Blackout and PUBG, really wanted to put the spatial audio to the test to see if it really did help me detect. And one thing I particularly noticed was, in my opinion, Blackout doesn't have as good a sound as PUBG does. And I've found that using other headsets, it just doesn't, it's harder to tell where footsteps are coming from and things like that. Using this headset, I did notice a little bit of a difference. Now, the actual audio mix of this headset is very bassy. And in Synapse, you can change a couple of different EQ presets. And the game preset I found to be very bassy. The movie preset was the best out of the box for just overall audio mix, and the music one was also a little bit bass heavy. Now you can also create custom EQ, which I would recommend. Play around with it a little bit and see if you can find a blend that you really like. It is a very punchy sound, and it does give you that sort of THX movie theater sound that you would kind of expect. And even though these aren't the haptic version that does give you the vibration feedback, it does give you a good bit of boom that you almost do feel it in your head a little bit. And while we're talking about Razer Synapse, this is a Chroma enabled device. So the Razer logos on the sides of the ear cups will light up with the Chroma lighting. Not only does the static and color cycling effect, but really in my opinion, having RGB on a headset is kind of silly because you can't see it while you're wearing it. And unless you're at a LAN party or you're streaming or something like that, people aren't really gonna take note of it. And because this is a wireless headset, having the lights enabled is going to drain your battery faster. Now, this battery does last 14 hours with Chroma enabled and 20 hours with Chroma not enabled. So I would recommend just turning the lights off because I think you're going to get a lot more out of the headset if you leave those off. So overall, for 150 bucks, the Nari is a pretty decent headset, but it also comes in at a very premium price. Now, the overall construction does feel like it's gonna hold up well, and I really appreciated the feel of those cooling gel ear cups. It is a comfortable and lightweight headset, and it's something that I feel like you could forget that you're wearing with its wireless construction. The audio quality is good, but it is a little bit bass heavy, and unless you want to spend a lot of time messing with the EQ, I would recommend it to those of you that do like a nice boomy bassy headset. That being said, it does have a pretty cool experience when you're in the headset and just playing games like Blackout. All of the gunshots are really punchy, and so that does give you a pretty good sound. But again, if you're going to be listening to a lot of music or something like that and you really want crystal clear sounding audio, you may want to mess with your EQ settings just a little bit. Now, as for the microphone, you guys heard it, and I want you to let me know what you think about the mic quality down in the comments below. But with that, guys, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it to show your support. And if you're new here on the channel, I'd love to see you subscribe, as I've got a lot more videos like this coming for you in the near future. You can also follow me on Twitter at Brainbean Gaming to stay up to date with what's going on with the channel, as well as all of my giveaway announcements. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.